About a year after the end of World War II, people started having babies. And then they had more and more babies, lots of babies, many babies for the next 18 years, all the way through 1964. This period of time was called the baby boom. And for most of my life, I was considered to be a baby boomer because I was born right at the heart of it in 1954. Lately, they dropped baby. I guess we're getting a little bit old. And now they say boomer, often followed by the word okay. I'm sorry, often preceded by the word okay. Yeah, as a boomer, I don't have editing skills, so I'm just going to blather into this phone, and that'll be that. I don't have the ability to edit this. By the way, blather, according to Google, means to talk long windedly without making any sense. Hopefully, the blathering will at least be entertaining. So, therefore, welcome to the first episode of The Blathering Boomer. This is a show or a podcast, whatever you want to call it, where people can just kind of come on and talk about whatever's on their minds. I'm going to do a slightly different twist. Let's see how that works out. Because I have never interviewed anybody, and I want to have people on the show, but since I have no interviewing skills, but I have been interviewed. So rather than have guests on the show, I'm going to have hosts on the show that'll interview me and hopefully inspire some good natured, entertaining blather from me. The one tool I have is the pause button. I'm going to collect a thought or two. Anyway, if this thing gets anywhere and people actually like it, and maybe I start going live, or who knows where it'll go. I'll eventually need some kind of engineer or whatever, or somebody with skills. You know, I like how Jimmy Dore is able to show tweets on the screen and then read them and then comment on them, and other people show video clips. I have absolutely none of that ability. But what I do have is a lot of stories. I've been a cab driver. I've been a prisoner. I've been in rehab. I survived high school. I went to college. I've been a psychedelic warrior, explorer, etc., etc. Have children, I have grandchildren, and now I'm actually the president of a corporation where I started as a driver and worked my way up, and that's a whole long story. Actually, all my stories are long stories. Pause. In talking about what I plan on doing with this, I've been mostly saying I'm going to stay away from politics, but I don't think there's any avoiding politics. I prefer, rather than call it politics, because I've been apolitical most of my life, especially in 1984 when I actively went on the road campaigning for nobody for president. That's a long story in and of itself, which I will tell in a future episode, if there are future episodes. Anyway, the divide in this country. The problem I have is not of people's opinions. It's of people who don't respect the fact that other people have opinions that don't agree with theirs. And I don't want to duck that. So while I don't want this to be a political podcast, I have no time or inclination to do the research into stories like my friends and other podcasts do. I'll leave that to them. I'll just comment on what I hear, I'll comment on what I know, or not at all. I know in a couple of episodes, I'm hoping my daughter comes on with me because her husband, my son-in-law, was just a victim of a very clever scam, and I want to talk about that and scams in general. I want to tell my stories. I was just in New York, and we did some filming we got some footage of the last place that I was incarcerated, which is a work release center on the corner of Howard and Putnam in Brooklyn. Then we went to Manhattan Beach and got some footage of my very dilapidated, poorly kept Little League field, where I have the absolute best memories of my childhood. I love playing baseball from age 10 to 13, which is when I played Little League. Pause. A lot of people who follow me on YouTube and Twitter know me from the Tulsi Gabbard campaign, and I am an unapologetic supporter of Tulsi Gabbard. And if you're a hater, you can keep watching or hang up now. I really don't care. My feeling about Tulsi, which I'm just going to dwell on for a moment, is that there are leaders and there are politicians A politician will sacrifice their principles for power. A leader will sacrifice their power for their principles. And in my opinion, Tulsi Gabbard is the epitome of a leader. And I am very proud to have written a bunch of songs for her 2020 campaign, and I treasure the people I met on that campaign. Anyway, I conceived of the name Blathering Boomer about 6 months ago. I've been meaning to do this podcast. Everybody's telling me I should do a podcast, so here it is. I chose Labor Day to get to work on this. So hopefully this little bit of blathering makes sense. Hopefully it entices you to want to see more. And I will start getting to work on other episodes. If anybody has any ideas about how to make this better, or wants to be a guest host, or bless you if you're an engineer and you want to spend some time working on this and making this a little more techno, non-boomerish, great. Eventually there'll probably be, as a boomer and as one who blathers, I get lost in my thoughts sometimes, and that was one of those times. Again, if I can edit, I wouldn't care. I'd just keep going, but I had to pause. And I figured out, by the way, that just hitting the pause button and not saying pause is much more effective. So, thank you very much for watching. I know this is the time where people say like and subscribe. Personally, I don't give a shit if you like and subscribe. I'm just happy you're watching. And I am hoping to make this into something people really want to see. We'll see. For now, peace out.